Psychology says women do this to get men to chase. Ever wonder why some women seem to have men wrapped around their finger? Psychology reveals a fascinating pattern. When women trigger certain emotional responses in men, it activates what's known as the pursuit drive. Today, I'm breaking down the science behind these behaviors, and, more importantly, how to maintain your composure when you encounter them. 1. The emotional investment test. She starts sharing deep personal stories or vulnerabilities, then watches how you react. This creates what psychologists call trauma bonding, a false sense of intimacy that can make you feel more connected than you actually are. It's like skipping chapters in a book and jumping straight to the emotional climax. How to respond. While it's good to be supportive, maintain healthy boundaries. Listen if you want to, but don't feel pressured to match her level of emotional disclosure. Remember, genuine intimacy builds gradually, not through strategic vulnerability dumps. Keep your responses compassionate, but measured. 2. The social media game. Here's a classic move. She posts stories or photos that she knows will catch your eye. Maybe it's at your favorite coffee shop, or she's wearing that color you once said looked great on her. She's creating what psychologists call artificial scarcity, making you feel like you're missing out on these moments of her life. How to respond. Remember, social media is a highlight reel, not reality. Instead of jumping to comment or react, take a step back. If you want to engage, do it because you genuinely have something to say, not because you feel compelled to maintain a presence in her digital world. Better yet, focus on creating your own interesting life stories rather than monitoring hers. 3. The jealousy trigger. This one's as old as time but still effective. She casually mentions other guys or makes sure you see her interacting with them. It's not just about making you jealous. It's about triggering what psychologists call mate value assessment. Basically, she's trying to show you that other people find her desirable. How to respond. Here's where you need to be smarter than your instincts. Instead of getting jealous or competitive, show genuine disinterest. Not in a rude way, but in a that's nice kind of way. Remember, someone who's truly confident doesn't need to compete for attention. Your value doesn't decrease because someone else might be interested in her. 4. The damsel in distress. Suddenly, she needs help with things she usually handles just fine. Her car needs checking, her computer's acting up, or she can't reach something on a high shelf. This tactic taps into men's natural protective instincts and what psychology calls the hero instinct. It's subtle but effective. How to respond. Being helpful is fine, but don't drop everything every time she calls. If it's convenient and you want to help, go ahead. But if you're busy or it feels like a manipulation tactic, it's perfectly okay to say, "Sorry, I can't right now. Have you tried calling a professional?" This shows you respect both her ability to handle things and your own time. 5. The hot and cold treatment. You know the drill. One day she's blowing up your phone, the next she's practically a ghost. It's like trying to predict the weather in spring. Impossibly confusing. This isn't random. It's actually a psychological principle called intermittent reinforcement. When someone gets unpredictable responses, they're more likely to stay hooked, just like a gambler at a slot machine. How to respond. Instead of riding this emotional roller coaster, maintain steady, consistent behavior. If she texts you constantly one day, don't match her energy. Keep your usual response rate. When she goes cold, don't chase. Think of yourself as a rock in a storm, stable, unmoved, and definitely not playing weather vane with her changing winds. 6. The praise and validation dance. Here's a subtle one. She lavishes you with specific compliments, especially about things that set you apart from other guys. Then, gradually, this validation becomes less frequent, making you work harder to earn it back. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement, again, but with a personal twist. How to respond. The key here is to be your own source of validation. Appreciate compliments, but don't let them become your emotional fuel. Build your self-worth on your own achievements and values, not on her approval. When the praise slows down, your confidence shouldn't waver, because it wasn't dependent on her feedback in the first place.